Hi, my name is Lauren Ramsey, and I did the presentation of Robert Hanssen for Case Studies in Espionage class. The purpose of this PowerPoint is to clarify Robert Hanssen's reasons for committing espionage, discuss the psychological issues regarding the mind of Mr. Hanssen, and demonstrate an understanding of Hanssen's upbringing and early life. Robert Hanssen was born on April 18, 1944, in Chicago, Illinois. His father, a Chicago policeman, was emotionally abusive to Robert when he was growing up, stating he'd never make anything of his life. Robert originally went to school to become a doctor, but eventually followed in his father's footsteps and became a Chicago police officer to make his father proud. His relationship with his mother was not mentioned. Married life. Married his only wife, Bernadette Walk, in 1968. They ultimately had 6 children, 3 boys and 3 girls. Seemed like your quote-unquote everyday happy family, unquote, according to one neighbor. Hanssen had a supposed mistress when he started spying in the early 1980s. She went on business trips with him often. When confronted about this, Hanssen said he was only trying to convert her to Catholicism and that they never slept with each other. He first started working for the FBI in the Gary, Indiana field office on January 12, 1976. He was transferred shortly after to a New York field office. Soon after, in 1981, he was transferred to Washington, D.C. In Washington, D.C., he became an expert on computers, where he was responsible for studying, identifying, and capturing Soviet spies, mainly double spies. He transferred to New York in 1985. While on a business trip to D.C., he became an operative spy for the KGB. He then offered his services for $100,000. Espionage activities. Was a walk-in for the Soviets. Offered his services for money in the early 1980s. Most important betrayal of Dmitry Polyakov, codenamed Top Hat. Polyakov was a CIA informant for more than 20 years before his retirement in 1980 and passed enormous amounts of information to American intelligence while he rose to the rank of general in the Soviet Army. For unknown reasons, the Soviets did not act on their intelligence about Polyakov until he was betrayed a second time by CIA mole Aldrich Ames in 1985. Polyakov was arrested in 1986 and executed in 1988, information found on Wikipedia. Robert Hanssen was the one who betrayed him and showed his important leak of information to the FBI. Suspicions. In 1990, Hanssen's brother-in-law, Mark Walk, a fellow FBI employee, recommended that he be looked into for espionage since his sister, Bonnie's sister, found a large stack of cash on one of Hanssen's dressers. Bonnie's sister then ultimately talked to Mark and recommended that she thought that Hanssen might be spying. Hanssen then took a break from his espionage activities. In 1992, he resumed spying for the Russian Federation after the collapse of the Soviet Union. In 1993, he hacked into fellow employee Ray Mislock's computer and printed out classified documents in hopes of having Ray framed for the espionage that Hanssen committed. Espionage continued. After 8 years without talking to the Russians, he began spying again. In November 2000, he sent his last letter to the Russians before he was finally caught. July 6, 2001. Pled guilty to 15 counts of espionage and 15 life sentences without parole. He is currently placed in solitary confinement 23 hours a day. Interview questions. If I had the chance to interview Robert Hanssen, I would ask him many questions, but a few have stuck out to me. What exactly possessed you to become a walk-in spy? As in, was your only motivation money, or what else was there to it? Did you enjoy spying? Why or why not? Why did you choose to spy for the Soviets and then ultimately Russia? Did anything happen between you and your supposed mistress, the stripper Priscilla Sugaily? And did you feel remorse for when you were caught? Another question I'd like to ask him is about the relationship him and his father had. And those are my resources. Thinking about the psychological aspects of Robert Hanssen, I believe that the only negative psychological thing he had was involving his father. Since his father was rather harsh on him, he felt the need that he needed to impress his father ultimately, but I really don't think there was a whole lot of psychological damage. Thank you.